The top of A12.
See that? South Africans.
Right there. No, before that. Back it up. Back it up. Go to the top of that page. Bernie Dio. That's where it starts. Okay, go ahead.
Don't worry about page 3. It ends
I'm here, Michael.
Page 2, okay?
Go ahead and open Bernie's mic.
Got it, Mandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amid the trappings of a presidency he was forced to give up, the late Richard Milhouse Nixon makes the final journey home. I'm Judy Woodruff, and I'll be reporting live from the Nixon Library and Birthplace in California.
South Africans of all races enjoy their first taste of full democracy, ending centuries of white rule. I'm Bernard Shaw, and I'll be reporting live from Johannesburg on the start of these historic elections.
Hey, Jim, we're hearing a lot of scraping.
A crash, flames, and more than 200 fatalities.
Okay, we're clear for
an update on the Taiwanese jet that went down in the country.
They're doing a plane crash story, of course.
And rescuers in Texas.
Indeed, that is the story. This is the first day of a remarkable transformation here in South Africa. For the first time in the history of this country, people of all races are heading to the polls together. It is the first day of the historic multi-race election. Blacks, whites, Indians, and coloreds are all voting together. On this day, democracy debuts, people from outside South Africa are voting, as are those who might need extra time to vote, such as the elderly, disabled, and pregnant women.
Roll the tape, please.
Polling places have been flooded with people, and mobile polling units have been visiting voters who cannot make the trip to the voting stations. Balloting begins for the rest of the country tomorrow and continues through Thursday. After that time, more than 3 centuries of white minority rule will be part of history. Millions of black voters are casting the first ballots of their lives.
Roll.
I feel very proud to be one of the voters in South Africa. It is just for me to vote.
Everything is easy. Very easy and very nice. I'm feeling very well. I'm very happy. Because this is the first time to come and vote for the blacks people of South Africa. I'm very happy about that.
I enjoy it. I'm so glad that I voted.
5 seconds.
Now if I'm still alive in 1999, then I'll do it again.
Take it, Bill Bernie.
The election here in South Africa may last 3 days, but as far as the leader of the Inkatha Freedom Party is concerned, 3 days is not enough. Mangosuthu Buthelezi wants an extension. For more on that, let's go to CNN's Brent Sadler in Durban.
Thanks, Bernie. Well, here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, both the African National Congress Party and Inkatha lay claim to the majority of Zulu voters, a bitter rivalry that has now been put to a crucial test at the ballot box. Already, though, Inkatha is demanding to have more voting days because of what they say are difficulties a number of their people are facing in various voting stations.
Roll, BC2. Track it. Take it.
Carter complains that their party stickers, which were supposed to appear at the bottom of all papers, are simply not there. The amendment of 18 million voting slips, to include Inkatha, was one of the things for the disabled and elderly got underway in Natal. Inkatha also complains that there were too many voting stations in areas dominated by the ANC.
More threatening is the fact that in areas that are IFP-dominated areas, you don't have booths, and they are only in areas that are dominated by the ANC.
Todd, can you get the Mandela bill that's supposed to run over
the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Johan Kriegler, himself voting, ordered an investigation into Inkatha's demand.
Somebody free who can shut off
this is the voting station in Natal, where ANC leader Nelson Mandela will achieve his lifelong ambition of placing his vote.
It's not coming from the IFBs. He doesn't go into the IFBs.
You got to come through the headsets.
For black and white, the moment of destiny. Inside more than 9,500 voting stations, which will be opened by tomorrow. For one woman placing her vote in the box which Nelson Mandela will use, a moment of anxiety. Hands shaking, she finally fulfilled her dream. The ANC leader will follow the same route tomorrow.
There won't be any difference because we'll follow the same rules and same procedure. The only difference is that we'll be handling a person with a bigger personality.
Make him go.
In Carter's claims that irregularities are now being answered by regional representatives of the Independent Electoral Commission who are holding a news conference right now. We'll update you later on. But that's all from here for now. I'm Brent Sadler, CNN, reporting live from Durban.
Thank you, Brent. The first day of true democracy in South Africa has produced two images that reflect the changes underway here. On the one hand, Nelson Mandela, the man who almost certainly will be president, addressing hundreds of journalists at a five-star hotel here in Johannesburg. In Pretoria, a contrasting image. President F.W. de Klerk escorting his 89-year-old mother to a polling station at a home for the elderly. In a nod to the political realities that will probably push him from power, he told reporters, quote, "Today, the new South Africa is being born." 6 hours from now, the new South Africa will have a new flag. At 1 minute before midnight local time, the current South African flag will be lowered at the nation's 9 regional legislatures. At 1 minute past midnight, this new flag will be raised. At the same time, the new national anthem will go into effect and the interim constitution will become the law of the land. That's it for now from South Africa. Of course, we'll have continuous live coverage throughout these unprecedented elections. I'm Bernard Shaw in Johannesburg. Lee Collins, back to you in Washington.
Well, Bernie, 100,000 or so South Africans who are traveling in the United States are eligible to vote as well.
That's all.
Some 15 cities.
12 noon, election day.
Mid-Rand, South
The
Africa.
IEC is at present analysing all of the complaints that came in, both those reported by our own administration and our own monitoring division, as also all of those received from the political parties and from individuals.
I understand the locator we get to
other
is Mid-Rand, in one word. Mid-Rand.
Those we will be analysing tonight. Remedial steps will be taken. These will be conveyed to the district electoral officers tonight still. In areas where the remedy is not readily to hand, we still have 2 days to go. For a larger number of voting stations than had originally been planned, and a redistribution of material had to be undertaken today. On with respect to the proponents, illogical. There is no reason to believe that the electoral apparatus cannot, over the ensuing 2 days, deal with the substantial body of South African voters. In a nutshell, the picture is far from perfect, but also very, very much further from disastrous. I hand over to Ben van der Ros for specifics.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening and welcome to Cape Town. The scene is the Provincial Building, seat of the old Cape Provincial Council in Wales Street. This is the building that will house the new regional parliament of the Western Cape region, which of course is in the process of being elected right now. It's situated next to a well-known Cape Town landmark, St. George's Cathedral, where many a drama associated with our more recent tempestuous history has been enacted. There's a crowd anticipating the raising of the new national flag, and just off your screen, a last-ditch political statement from ANC supporters. Although they're not visible, there is a strong police presence ready to deal with any eventuality. These are members of the Transnet Libertas Choir. They're going to be singing the stem later in the ceremony, and of course, Nkosi Sikelel' Africa. The choir master is Johan de Villiers, and it's worthy to note that Johan's grandfather, the Reverend M.L. de Villiers, composed the music for the stem from St. Africa. The words, of course, which were written by C.J. Long. This is the music you've been hearing, provided by what is called the Solid Brass Quintet. They're members of the Cape Town Symphony, members of all the political parties who are contesting the regional election in the Western Cape and their partners, and the Director General and the senior officials. With his back to camera is Hans Creel, the Minister of Law and Order. There's the Mayoress of Cape Town, Patricia Kleiner. Seems that all the dignitaries are not in place yet, but the ceremony is due to take place at exactly 1 minute to midnight. Here's a crowd assembled to see the blue, white and orange flag which has fluttered and flapped over South Africa for the last 60 years, lowered, as I said, at 1 minute to midnight. Destined perhaps to become a collector's item along with whites-only signs and other relics of apartheid. This low-key ceremony will also be taking place at the same time at 8 other venues around the country, notably Bishu, Kimberley, Pietermaritzburg, Bloemfontein, Mapatu, Petersburg, Nelspruit and Johannesburg.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats now.
At midnight tonight, the new colours of South Africa will take the place of the old on the flagpole. The flag that will herald a new era will be raised as one of the national emblems. But for some, there will still be a twinge of nostalgia when they think of the old orange, white and blue flag. We take a look at the historical significance of the old flag and the coming of age of the new.
There are 3 symbols which identify a country and its people: the national anthem, the emblem or coat of arms, and the flag. The raising of the flag and singing of the anthem has the patriotic power to bring tears to our eyes, and the national emblems are worn with patriotic pride. But in South Africa, these symbols have been a bone of contention for the majority of South Africans affected by apartheid. But the new age of democracy has dawned, and the last vestiges of repression or anything tainted by apartheid are being put to rest for good. A new flag will be hoisted. The original South African flag of orange, white and blue was based on the old Dutch flag. It was called Van Riebeck's flag, as it's generally believed that the first settlement in the Cape was started under this tricolour. But in 1927, the Union government incorporated 3 small flags as insets in the new national flag. These flags symbolise developments since the time of Jan van Riebeck. They are the Transvaal Republic flag, the Free State Republic flag, and the Union Jack, representing not Britain but the 2 former British colonies. The official flag hoisting ceremony throughout the country took place on the 31st of May in 1928. Like most countries, rules were introduced to preserve the dignity and status of this national symbol. For instance, the flag may not be used as clothing, as decorations, or to start or finish a competition or race. The orange, white and blue served its purpose through a turbulent era, and the time has come for a new flag to unite all South Africans. The lot eventually fell to the Transitional Executive Council to come up with a new flag. This was a daunting task, as it was impossible to incorporate all the symbols and logos that people suggested. South Africans were invited to submit designs which were studied, filed away, or simply discarded. Suns and continents, bright colours and earthy colours, old designs and new flooded in from all over the country. Eventually, when the task became virtually impossible, a team of professional designers was called in. It was the ANC's Cyril Ramaphosa and the government's Rolf Meyer who made the final decision. And the design that was finally chosen incorporated 6 colours: red, white, blue, green, gold and black. It's new, it's colourful and looks nothing like the old flag. In just over a week, 100,000 flags have been manufactured and companies are still working round the clock to fill their orders.
The tender went out to 4 companies, well, it was accepted by 4 companies, ourselves, 2 other South Africans, and then regrettably an overseas company. A little bit unfortunate because we've taken on an extra 40 or so people who are otherwise unemployed, and we're giving them employment for about a month. We started off by making a positive, preparing our various screens. Well, that's a 5-colour flag. We printed in 3 operations, which makes it cheaper than the old South African flag. After the screens are made up, we actually print with dispersed dyes. So the colours that we use have to be specially formulated, they're mixed, tested, and then the printing commences. We print the flag by doing the blue, red, and the black, and then coming back to do the yellow, and then lastly the green.
We sew in the flags. We're sewing up straight line, we put the corner page, the weaving, label.
The bottom line is how well the flag is accepted by the population, and I think the population has accepted the flag. It's not a matter of whether you like it or not, but if it's representative of the people of the country, then that's the most important criteria to fulfill.
The flag is a symbol of hope and unity, and when it's finally hoisted, the age of the new democratic South Africa will have arrived.
Of course, there's been a variety of conflicting opinions about the merits of the new flag's design, a debate which will probably continue into the new South Africa.
Honored guests, members of the Libertas Choir, the Solid Brass Quintet, ladies and gentlemen, as the Provincial Coordinator for the Western Cape, I have great pleasure in welcoming you to this momentous occasion, an occasion symbolizing the commencement of a new era and the birth of a new dispensation in our country and this beautiful province of the Western Cape. I do this in the belief that the changes about to take place in our country will bring with it peace, prosperity for all our people. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remain standing throughout the proceedings. South African flag, the orange, white and blue, will now be lowered while the Transnet Libertas Choir sings the first verse of the stem.
is lowered by two Cape provincial officials who've been doing this job for many years now, Mr. Louis Hamann and Ben Hussen. That's Ben in your picture right now. The flag's finally been folded. It'll be taken inside the building, and Mr. Hamann and Mr. Hussen will immediately re-emerge with the new national flag of South Africa. Interesting to note that there was a great deal of confusion and controversy surrounding an acceptable design for the old flag. From the time of Union in 1910, South Africa, as a British Dominion, flew the Union Jack. It was only in 1928 that the new national flag emerged. We are in quite festive mood in anticipation of the raising of the new flag, the colours of which, incidentally, while they represent the colours of the various political parties, include green for the land, black for the people, yellow for the mineral wealth, red for the bloodshed, blue for the African sky and freedom, and white for peace.
After 12, on April 27, 1994, the new South African flag will now be hoisted while the choir sing the first verse, Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika, and the call for South Africa.
Salvo
dawn today, South Africa's new national flag will be hoisted at 6,000 official buildings throughout the country. It will be raised at government buildings, law courts, police stations, military installations, and on board more than 800 ships in the South African merchant fleet. Despite the flag manufacturers telling us that there's a great demand for the flag, not all political groupings are enchanted with it. South Africa's new flag was burnt in Bloemfontein on March the 29th, when 200 people from the Afrikaner Volksfront gathered to declare the city part of an Afrikaner Volksstaat.
Le flag intsha yesizwe soMzantsi Afrika inyuswa kwizakhiwo ezingamathandathu zezakhiwo zasemrhulumenteni kanye nje emva komzuzu sebethe intsimbi yeshumi elinambini ithetha mna izakhiwo zenkundla zamatyala, izikhululo zamapolisa, izigqubu zomkhosi nakwinqanawa zoMzantsi Afrika, ingakumbi zomkhosi wamanzi ezingama-8.
We mentioned the furore over both the flags, and it's reasonable to suppose that that's not over yet. There are still 9 new provincial flags to be designed, debated, and derided. As the people of South Africa turn from the dark to the light, hanging on that light will be all our hopes.
Here is a face that is well recognizable in South Africa. She's a sexual psychotherapist. She's the doyen of sexual broadcasting. You know her so very well. Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Dr. Ruth, how did you get into this business?
Sharon, repeat that one more time.
How did you get into this business?
I knew you would ask that, but I just wanted to be sure. You see, I work for an organization that's called Plant Therapist. I taught many years at the university.
Lost him! I spotted Mike Handa there on the scene at the school where Nelson Mandela is presenting his papers of citizenship, proof of who he is. This is being done with everyone. This is the procedure. Indeed, that is the story. This is the first day of a remarkable transformation here in South Africa. For the first time in the history of this country, people of all races are heading to the polls together. It is the first day of the historic multi-race election. Blacks, whites, Indians, and coloreds are all voting together. On this day, democracy debuts. People from outside South Africa are voting, as are those who might need extra time to vote, such as the elderly, disabled, and pregnant women.
Roll the tape, please.
Polling places have been flooded with people, and mobile polling units have been visiting voters who cannot make the trip to the voting stations. Balloting begins for the rest of the country tomorrow and continues through Thursday.
Go to your next day.
After that time, more than 3 centuries of white minority rule will be part of history. You will see lots of smiling faces in the many pictures we'll be showing you throughout our continuous coverage of what is unfolding here in South Africa. We see a gentleman having his hand dried. This is part of the procedure.
Well, this is them watching their leader vote. This is a great picture. That's a big box.
The fascinating thing to watch about what we have been reporting from the whole of South Africa is that this is a first for all this nation's people.
Why don't you put the big box, little box?
I just wanted to do that with Blue Lake here. All right, you can do big box, little box.
More than 9,000 polling places throughout South Africa. In fact, the Independent Electoral Commission had to put in some 700 additional polling places because of the 11th hour entry of the Encounter Freedom Party. Understandably, there have been some difficulties.
You got your effect? Yeah, the camera set now. It's not
All of this balloting is being done by hand. Balloting will continue Thursday, tomorrow, and possibly, authorities might be able to report some concrete results sometime late Sunday night. Possibly. Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission stressed that in a CNN interview a couple days ago. Whatever the case, when the South Africans have made their decisions, when the ballots have been tallied, CNN and CNN International will be here to bring you results live, as well as interviews with all of the principals. We're going to be covering this story throughout next week, and we'll be back in South Africa for the inauguration festivities. If you are just joining us anywhere in the world, that beige shirt belongs to Nelson Mandela. For the first time in his life, he is voting in his country. Let's watch for the expression when he leans back from this voting booth.
Let me know when you see it. 96 light.
Now he's being escorted to the next level of this voting.
Okay.
We told him he wants to go to the ambulance. Go ahead.
After he cast his vote.
Mike Hanna, you with us?
This lady cast his vote.
Mr. Mandela has marked his ballot. Look at this.
Dump the font. Dump the font. Lose the font. Lose the font. Lose the font. Let's just see this dude.
Mike Hanna, you with us?
This is the picture you will be seeing on the front pages of your newspaper around the world, wherever you are.